On air, online, and squeezed into your smartphone. 2NURFM 103.7. We've been talking quite a lot about this today, and over the last couple of weeks, it is Gifting Day, which is something that's happening across the University of Newcastle, and a particular focus here today on 2NURFM, which will also be a part of that. Now, before we jump into the whole concept of that, a couple of gentlemen that just jumped into the studio, and one bloke who never really makes his way in here at all unless there's a problem, and that's our manager, Shane Peake. Shane, is the GPS working to the studio? Did you figure out where we are, mate? Or what?
Oh, good morning, Mark. Yeah. No, I know where you are.
That's well, not too hard to find. But we actually have a special guest with us, and a gentleman that's known right across the Hunter and certainly beyond as well, Brian McGuigan. Brian, thank you so much, firstly, for coming in, and welcome to Gifting Day.
Mark, it's an absolute pleasure to be here. I love the excitement that you've been able to create and the uni's been able to create as a result of Gifting Day. What a wonderful thing to concentrate the gifting to this station over one day so that we're all thinking about it and thinking about our responsibilities to the community of Newcastle and the Hunter Valley.
Absolutely. And we'll talk in a minute about some of the many, many donors that have actually been a part of the day already. Brian, from a listener's perspective, you obviously feel that you get a lot out of the station personally. So can you take us through your own journey as a 2NURFM listener?
Yes, well, I've been listening to you for a long time, and even back in the John McGann days. And in fact, I still listen to him of a Sunday.
Still here, absolutely.
That's right. What a fantastic voice he's got, Mark. But
the rest of us still getting there. We're still trying.
Yeah, keep trying, Mark. No, you're doing all right. You're doing well.
You're doing well. Love your excitement. Your excitement is wonderful and infectious. No, look, I've listened to the station because the music that you give, the communication that you give, the news that you give, the information about the weather, and then all the interviews you have with leading people who give the community some real down-to-earth advice about particular things, whether I've got fungus on my hibiscus or whether my dog's got a flea or something, I can get the answer here. And your announcers do a marvellous job, and of course so too do your guests, and it touches the community. And the thing I like about it is that the music is great. I suppose it's music a bit from my era, and I like that even more. But I think it's good that all of us communicate with our local station so that we get the information to the community at large and look after the community, because it is a fantastic community.
You mentioned, just touch on that very quickly, Brian, that the community that we are all a part of here across the Hunter really is fantastic. I mean, we've all been in other parts of the country and possibly in other parts of the world as well, but nothing beats the people that we have here. And how about some of the responses so far? I mean, we do have a target today for the radio station of $60,000, and rapidly approaching the halfway mark.
Yes, isn't that marvellous? Look at that. 213 people have put up their hands, Mark, and said, yes, I want to make sure that you guys at 2NURFM have all the facilities that you need to keep up with fashion and make sure that you've got technology right so that you can continue to service the community. I'm really interested in it because and a number of the key people who have donated here are people who have made their careers here in this district, have made money in this district, and it's a way of our making sure that we put money back into the community so that the next generation gets benefits.
Yeah, and while we say so far, there are 213 people that have so far donated over $23,700. Brian, were there a couple that you did want to highlight particularly there?
Well, I would, because these four people have donated $5,000 each.
Fantastic.
Josta Julius from the De Julius Winery. Joss is a man of this community. He made his fortune here, and he is a fantastic stalwart for Hunter people. Richard Owens, he and his family, what wonderful people they have been, not just for the community but for the university. And Richard has been lecturing at universities around the world. Jan Gardner, a director of 2NURFM. Thank you, Jan, for participating in this fundraising. And also Tracy Norman. Tracy Norman, who is the ex-mayor of Dungog. I had a station up there just out of Dungog and had quite a bit to do with Tracy. What a wonderful lady she is. She's first class, and she is very much committed to the people of the Hunter Valley region. And so those people, together with the other 213 people who have come to the party, thank you so much. Thank you for participating. You cost me money every donation you give, but that's okay because we're all in this boat together to create a better station for the people of this great region.
Yeah, and Brian, you mentioned those 4 people. Thank you to those who were able to give those larger amounts. Really appreciate that. But also everybody from the smallest donations all the way through. I've been saying it a couple of times, we don't take any of you for granted, and we thank you for what people have been able to give.
That's right.
Brian, you mentioned some of this is costing you a little bit of money. So what's the chequebook going to look like? Can you take us through? You've actually got a special contribution announcement with that as well.
Oh, yes. Well, if your listeners give $1, I give $1. So if the listeners give $50,000, I give $50,000. So it's a way of putting money back into the community and giving you guys at 2NURFM everything you need to, well, maybe not everything, but most of what you need to keep the station trendy, up to date, technically up to date, so that you can continue the fine service that you already deliver.
Well, Brian, and obviously on behalf of Shane as well, obviously you may just want to quickly say a big thanks to Brian for that, because we don't know what that total might look like yet, and it's still a bit...
Well, yeah, we don't. It's been a tremendous start. I'm so proud of our listeners and the community and the way they've supported it. But I've been involved with Brian since the start of planning this, and it's been many, many months. And I couldn't thank him more. He's so enthusiastic, so passionate about the community and 2NURFM and what we can do within the community. Brian, without you, we could not complete the project. So thank you very much from a heck of a lot of people.
Yes,
yeah,
well,
our volunteers, our staff, but also the community and our listeners.
Well, it's a pleasure to be involved, and congratulations to the people of this greatest area of Australia, if not the world.
Yep. Thank you, Brian.
All right, that sounds pretty good. Thanks again, Brian. Thanks, Shane, for popping in. And if you'd like to learn a little bit more about Gifting Day, if you would love to be a part of it, again, we thank everyone that has been doing that so far. Details you can find either at the link at the 2NURFM Facebook page, but the best and easiest way to be a part of Gifting Day is to head to 2NURFM.com.au.
2NURFM, a broadcast service of the University of Newcastle.